a repository for low and intermediate level radioactive waste in Slovenia. As the rest of the developed world, Slovenia uses radioactive sources in socially impactful activities. Radioactive waste is inevitably generated in the process. We need to make sure that waste does not harm the environment or the health of living beings. We first store it, but a definitive solution is permanent disposal. Slovenia will build its first radioactive waste repository in Vrbina near the Krško nuclear power plant. It will be used to dispose of low and intermediate level radioactive waste. This waste is considerably easier to handle than spent fuel. The repository complex will encompass the following: a building with offices and service areas, a technology facility, and a disposal facility with an underground silo and a hole above it. Safety will be ensured with a system of multiple barriers, which will prevent any adverse effects that the deposited waste could have on the environment and vice versa. Low and intermediate level waste ready for storage will be mostly placed inside metal barrels. Several barrels together will be placed into a concrete container and poured over with concrete. Having undergone this conditioning, the waste will be transported to the repository. This is where the waste will be checked against the acceptance criteria. If the waste has been conditioned properly, it will be placed in the underground silo. Inside the hole above the silo, there will be an access to the shaft and a pool below it. During disposal, the potential water percolating through the silo walls will be channeled into the pool. Before discharge, the water will be radiologically and chemically controlled. Once the silo will be full, its top will be sealed with a concrete slab and a thick layer of clay. The drainage system will be discontinued and sealed. The silo will be built in thick silt layers which are almost completely impermeable to water. These layers represent the last natural safety barrier of the repository. The barriers will separate the waste from the environment over the long period. The radioactivity of the waste will gradually decrease on its own. Eventually, it will become comparable to natural background radiation. Throughout its existence, all effects of the repository on the environment will be below the permitted limits. Human health will not be affected in any way. During the operation of the repository, the land which has originally been agricultural will be turned into a park, pasture land and a forest. Once the repository is closed, the area will continue to be monitored for 300 years. After that, the local community will be free to use the area at their discretion while maintaining the protective functions of the repository. The low and intermediate level waste repository will be built based on experience obtained in constructing comparable repositories around the globe. The natural characteristics of the location will be taken into account. The existing concept allows us to dispose of radioactive waste in accordance with international recommendations and know-how. The effect of the low and intermediate level waste repository on the environment and the society will be negligible.